Hi there. My name's Dan Kelly, and I work at Dalhousie University.
And I am Jamie Harbin, and I also work at Dalhousie University.
Good. And this is the fourth in a series of videos that we're making about an R package called argoFloats. And it's a package that helps you to work with argoFloat data. And you can, I won't go through a URL how you could find those because we've done that previously. And what we're going to show today is about two ways of subsetting argoFloat data, one by the ocean basin and the other by a polygon. So it's going to be Jamie next will share a screen and she'll show you the by ocean method.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. So as Dan mentioned, we'll start first by showing how you would subset by a given ocean. So to begin, we always just library the package. So again, it's called argoFloats. And then the next step is, and we always call it AI, Argo index, but you could call it whatever you want it. And we've gone through this before in our videos, how the next step is to get your index. So I'm just going to use all the default settings in this. So it's just going to grab the core Argo data. So it just might take a second. Perfect. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to subset by a circle and kind of look at a radius of 500 kilometers around Panama. So to do that, and I'll just call that S, you just use, and we've shown this in our video before, how to subset by circle. So you just go AI circle equals list. And I have this written down. I definitely do not have this memorized, this lon and lat. And as I mentioned, I'll do a radius of 500. Perfect. So if we want to get a visual of what that looks like, we can just do which equals map. So that's kind of the area that we're looking at there. So now, if we want to subset by a given ocean, so as you can see, the Atlantic Ocean up here and the Pacific Ocean down here, but if you're just interested in one or the other, what you could do, so I'll call this Atlantic, and you can just do subset, and basically what you're subsetting is what you have already subsetted, so it's your S, and you're going to do ocean equals A, so that stands for Atlantic. And then I'm going to do the same thing for Pacific. And again, P stands for Pacific. So until this point, it seems like everything is going good. But now what you will see, so if we want to plot those points, Atlantic, longitude, Atlantic, latitude. I'm just changing the type of dots here and changing the color. So what you see here is that some of the Atlantic points, for whatever reason, show up in the Pacific. And I will, just for completeness, also show the Pacific in a different color as well. So there you go. So again, as you can see, we were kind of interested and surprised, I guess, that the Atlantic points showed up over here in the Pacific. But the reason for that, so I'm just going to share another screen here, is right here. So this is the Argo user's manual. So we will give the reference for this in the description of this video. But as you can see here, so they actually subset by the, say, the Atlantic Ocean area or the Pacific Ocean area, and they set boundaries. So depending on what you are looking to study for, it may not actually be ideal to subset by ocean. So for that reason, that is why we created this subset by polygon. So Dan, I'll let you maybe share your screen if you want to show how you can get around this problem that we found.
Good. So this I'm a bit slower on this than Jamie is, so. So I have to sort of revisit her steps, but that won't bother you. But you called it AI, didn't you?
I did.
And we'll see the relative speed of our two computers here. They're probably
Not
now,
too bad.
the other thing, we've said this before, but the other thing is that this is cached. So this AI thing, what it's doing is it's looking for a local file in a particular place, and it's looking at the age of that file. And if the age is under 7 days, it uses that file. And the point of this is that you can see here the size of the object, that it's pretty big as an object, and even compressed in binary on the server. It's on the Argo server, it's like 35 megabytes or something. So it just incurs, maybe a 30-second delay. All right. So now what we'll do is let's see if I can do this without error. And this, I'm doing the same as what Jamie just did. Possibly even I'll use the same numbers, who knows? 9 radius, comma. So that's going to be 500 kilometers around that point that we've just listed. It's kept 20. If you're really following this, she and I probably would have got roughly the same number, but not necessarily the same number, because her index might have been downloaded 4 days ago most recently, and maybe mine 6 days ago most recently. Anyway, so I can plot that. And I didn't have to say which is equal to map, because in this particular type, the only thing you can do is a map. All right, so now what I want to do is, okay, and again, you can see here in this environment, you can see what the various things are. So what I'll be doing is plotting with, subsetting with a polygon. So to get a polygon, what I'm gonna do is I'll say maybe PA for the Atlantic polygon. I'm using locator. And locator is a nice tool. Let's do that. So by default, this is going to be letting me click 512 times. I don't have the patience to click 512 points, but what I'll do is I'll click escape, and that will get me out of it. So I'll just click enter. And now over here, I'm just going to make some points. I'm not sure why this is not connecting them with the line, but anyway, I think you can see where I'm going here. I don't really have to be very clear about this. Well, that's probably good. Well, you can see the line that it traced. Honestly, sometimes when I do it in a different window, you can see the line as I'm doing it, but that's fine. So just notice that this polygon that I've made is going through the land. That's okay, there's no Argos in the land. All that really matters is that this one does not enclose any of the Pacific data. Maybe I'll make the, yeah, well then what we'll do is we'll say A will be subset S, and it's going to be polygon list longitude is going to be, okay, so that's PA $X, because the locator just gives an X and Y, and the latitude, I spelled it wrong. Is that what you're saying, Jamie?
Just giggling a little bit.
I would have found it eventually. Okay, so that's that. Closing the polygon. Oh yeah, it's giving a message that the polygon was not closed, and that's fine. Okay, so we have a thing called A, and now we'll just do points of A. A thing, square bracket thing, I call it thing. Let longitude, and then A latitude. And for color, we'll put 2. 2 means red. And it's called points, not point. Good point, Dan.
Yeah.
And so you see that it correctly got the Atlantic, and I could do the same for the Pacific. So that's generally the way in which you would do it. In this case, I was getting the polygon by using locator. There's other ways of doing it. For an example, one thing that might be pretty sensible would be to plot on this diagram, would be to plot topography. And so maybe you might be interested in all the waters inshore of the 2,000 meter isobath, that means a line of constant depth at 2,000 meters. You may have another criterion for doing it. And so in other words, you might have an algorithmic way or a mouse clicking way of defining a polygon. And I don't really see the point in doing the same thing for the Pacific, so I won't. I think we've covered what we wanted to cover. Do you agree, Jamie?
Yeah, this was everything, so that was good.
Okay, good. So this was video number 4. What we'll do is upload it to the usual place and put in some notes and so forth. We hope it's been useful for you. And carry on, stay safe, and stay well. Bye-bye.
See you later.
I kind of forgot that, didn't I?